The rain showed no mercy. Since the night of June 7, 2025, an extreme weather event has fiercely battered Hunan Province in southern China, collapsing roads, destroying homes, and triggering a widespread emergency. Within just a few hours, entire neighborhoods were submerged, vehicles were swept away, and thousands watched helplessly as their homes turned into muddy pools. The catastrophe began with an intense storm in the city of Changsha, but quickly spread to many other towns in the region and beyond, including Shaoyang, Dongkou, Yiyang, Suining, Linshan, Ziyang, and Meitan. In Changsha, Hunan's capital, residents were gripped by panic as the relentless downpour overwhelmed the streets. Rainfall reached 65.1 millimeters in just a few hours, breaking local records. In mere minutes, residential areas were flooded, drainage systems failed, and roads became raging rivers. Vehicles were left floating like paper boats. Videos shared on social media by locals showed water cascading down stairwells and streets where floodwaters reached up to the thighs of adults. One of the most critical sites was the Hunan University of Traditional Chinese Medicine, located in the Yuelu district. Floodwaters reached over 30 centimeters inside the dormitories. Students were forced to evacuate. Some found shelter in hotels while others stayed in unaffected parts of the campus. The entire ground floor of the residence hall was submerged, with floating furniture and damaged belongings. This marked the third time in 2 years that the dorms had flooded, raising serious concerns about health risks and bacterial growth. Outside of Changsha, other parts of Hunan were severely affected. In Shaoyang, more than 13,000 people were impacted by what is now considered the worst flooding in 20 years. In Dongkou County, residents experienced the most intense water event in 3 decades. Water levels rose suddenly overnight, submerging the county seat. Locals said they had never seen flooding of this magnitude. In Yiyang, drainage systems completely failed under the relentless rainfall. The deluge caused damage to buildings, basements, elevators, even rooftops, highlighting the vulnerability of urban infrastructure to extreme weather. Reports reveal that many older communities have outdated drainage systems, some of which have already flooded up to 30 times this year alone. Rural and outlying areas also faced critical conditions. In Suining, the Changsha River overflowed, flooding homes, streets, and farmland. In Linshan, a wooden bridge collapsed, though fortunately no injuries were reported as the bridge had been closed in advance. In Ziyang, farms and storage facilities were completely inundated. Locals rushed to reinforce riverbanks with sandbags while emergency crews struggled to reach isolated villages. The destruction reached Meitan as well, where a major roadway was washed out, cutting off access to several villages. Military personnel and volunteers have been deployed to assist with rescue operations. The Ministry of Emergency Management has sent heavy machinery, pumping stations, and floating bridges to speed up recovery efforts. Transportation in Hunan ground to a halt. Subway lines 2 and 3 in Changsha were suspended for safety reasons. Several bus routes were canceled, and tourist truck traffic was restricted throughout the province. Widespread power outages affected hospitals, schools, and businesses. In many areas, the lack of electricity only added to residents' anxiety. Hospitals activated emergency protocols, and schools suspended classes indefinitely. Authorities set up temporary shelters where evacuated families received food, drinking water, and medical care. In Suaning alone, more than 300 people were housed in a repurposed elementary school. Government officials launched disinfection campaigns and distributed hygiene kits to prevent disease outbreaks. The weather's fury wasn't confined to Hunan. In the southeastern province of Zhejiang, heavy rainfall was accompanied by violent winds reaching level 16 on the Beaufort scale, causing power outages and structural damage. Mountainous areas experienced landslides and road collapses, leaving some cities in complete darkness due to downed power lines. Meanwhile, other provinces such as Fujian, Jiangxi, Guangxi, and Yunnan were hit by thunderstorms, hailstorms, and intense downpours. In parts of northern China, temperatures soared past 104 degrees Fahrenheit 40 degrees Celsius, fueling the development of convective clouds capable of unleashing severe storms in minutes. The Central Meteorological Observatory issued yellow alerts for extreme heat and blue warnings for violent storms. Experts blame these events on the intensifying effects of climate change, which has dramatically increased the frequency of extreme weather in recent years. The rainfall in Hunan has already been labeled among the heaviest for any June on record, and forecasts show no signs of relief. Continued rainfall in multiple regions threatens to further complicate rescue and recovery operations. China's Prime Minister expressed deep concern over the crisis and ordered the immediate deployment of additional resources to the hardest-hit areas. Police are patrolling flooded neighborhoods to prevent looting, while inspectors assess homes for structural damage and potential collapse. In some cities, water levels have started to recede, but the risk of new rainfall remains. Despite everything, medical teams, rescue workers, and thousands of volunteers continue their efforts tirelessly. This catastrophe has reignited a long-standing debate within Chinese society. Is this an unavoidable natural disaster, or a man-made crisis fueled by years of neglect and poor planning? On social media, many citizens have voiced frustration that the same areas, like Guitang River and Hanpu Street in Changsha, flood year after year despite promises of infrastructure improvements. Amid the chaos, stories of human solidarity have emerged. Strangers helping others escape submerged vehicles, volunteers donating food and supplies, and everyday citizens opening their homes to shelter the displaced. One family was rescued from a partially submerged house in Shuanhe thanks to the swift actions of emergency crews. Many residents have expressed deep gratitude to the rescuers for their bravery and dedication. China has experienced devastating storms in the past, like Typhoon Ramisen in 2014 and Typhoon Manat in 2018. But the combination of record-breaking rainfall, massive flooding, unbearable heat, and hurricane-force winds seen today reveals an alarming pattern. Images of collapsed homes, washed-away cars, and submerged cities keep repeating, reminding us of our fragility in the face of nature. The future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The impact of these floods will leave a lasting mark on millions of Chinese lives. The fight against this disaster continues, with an entire nation mobilized to resist, rebuild, and survive yet another wake-up call from our changing climate.